still listening.
The darkness blinked. Commander Ryan Cole saw it once on the forward screen and assumed it was sensor noise. Then it blinked again. A white beam swept across the stars. "Run the scan again," Ryan said. His science officer, Lisa Grant, was already doing it. "There is no planet in that sector." "Any station?" "Nothing." "Ship?" "Nothing." Ryan stared at the screen. His fleet had mapped this region 3 times. There were no colonies, stations, or known jump gates, just black space and a dead star. Yet the light came again. A narrow beam crossed the bridge. It illuminated the alien fleet. Then it vanished. Lisa leaned toward her console. "Commander, I'm reading a structure." Ryan turned. "Size?" "Large. Very large." "How large?" She hesitated. "About 300 meters." Ryan frowned. "That cannot be a human station." Lisa looked up. "It isn't a station." The image sharpened. An enormous cylindrical structure emerged from the darkness, its surface scarred by age. Ivory metal surrounded a giant rotating lens, while several windows glowed with warm yellow light. Ryan felt unease. "What is it?" he asked. Lisa swallowed. "A lighthouse." The bridge became silent. "For navigation?" "For navigation, yes. There is nothing to navigate to." "I know." The beam swept across the fleet again. This time Ryan noticed something. The light aimed directly at them. "Bring us alongside," he ordered. Lisa looked at him. "Commander, the structure is human." That changed everything. Humanity had vanished from this region 43 years ago. The last human expedition had disappeared beyond the outer systems. The galaxy had since treated humanity as lost. Ryan watched the lighthouse turn. "Open a channel." Static answered. Then a man's voice. Old. Calm. Almost amused. "You're 43 years late." Ryan froze. "Identify yourself." A pause. "Jack Miller." "Are you alone?" Another pause. "Yes." Ryan looked at Lisa. "How long have you been operating the station?" The answer came immediately. 43 years. Ryan felt the first crack in his certainty. "You've been here alone for 43 years?" "Not exactly alone." The channel went quiet. "Who were you expecting?" he asked. Jack did not answer. Instead, the lighthouse beam passed over their fleet one more time. Then Jack said softly, "You should not have come here." Ryan's hand tightened around the edge of the command console. "We didn't know anyone was here." "I know." "Then why say we're late?" Silence. Lisa suddenly raised her hand. "Commander." Ryan looked at her. "The signal." "What about it?" She turned her display toward him. "It's changing." Ryan walked to her station. The lighthouse transmission was repeating a sequence of numbers. At first it looked like a navigation code. Then Lisa isolated the pattern. "It isn't coordinates," she said. "What is it?" "I don't know yet." Ryan looked through the window. The lighthouse was a distant shape, its golden lens rotating with patient precision. A human relic where no human should have survived. "Board it," he said. Lisa looked uneasy. "Commander, if the human has been alone for 43 years, we don't know what condition he is in." "Then we'll find out." The docking operation took 6 minutes. Ryan crossed the airlock first. His boots touched the lighthouse floor. The corridor beyond was narrow, clean, and impossibly old. No holographic walls, no automated doors, no advanced alien systems. Just painted metal. Physical switches. Worn handrails. A small clock ticking above a maintenance panel. And photographs. Dozens of them. Every photograph showed humans, families, engineers, children, explorers, people smiling beneath an unfamiliar blue sky. Ryan stopped. Lisa stepped beside him. This station was built by humans. A sound came from the end of the corridor. Metal scraping against metal. An old man appeared. Jack Miller was tall, though age had bent his shoulders slightly. Silver hair and a short white beard framed his weathered face. His blue-gray eyes were sharp and remarkably calm. He wore a faded navy jacket, dark work trousers, and battered brown boots. His hands were stained with grease. He looked at the two aliens without fear. Then his eyes moved past them toward the fleet outside. His expression changed. Not surprise. Recognition. You came sooner than I thought. Ryan stepped forward. You know us? Jack shook his head. No. Then why did you expect us? Jack looked toward the lighthouse lens. Because somebody always comes eventually. Ryan's patience thinned. Who? Jack walked past him. Come see. They followed him into the control room. It was filled with old mechanical instruments and handwritten logs. Jack stopped beside a massive console. He opened a drawer. Inside lay a photograph of a young woman. She had brown hair, hazel eyes, and a bright smile. Jack touched the photograph with 2 fingers. My daughter, he said. Lisa's voice softened. What happened to her? Jack closed the drawer. That's why you're here. Ryan stared at him. We came because we detected your signal. No, Jack said. He looked directly at Ryan. You came because you answered it. The lighthouse beam turned again. This time the entire room trembled. Lisa checked her instruments. Commander. What? Her face had gone pale. The signal isn't transmitting into deep space. Ryan looked at Jack. Then where is it going? Jack stared at the dark window. Down. Ryan followed his gaze. Nothing was there. Then the lighthouse blinked 3 times. Jack whispered. They're still listening. And somewhere beyond the stars something answered. Jack did not answer immediately. He stood beside the old console while the alien fleet remained visible beyond the glass. Hundreds of ships hovered in formation, their cold lights scattered across the darkness. Ryan watched him. Who is still listening? Jack looked at the lighthouse lens. That's the wrong question. Ryan stepped closer. Then give me the right one. Jack finally turned. Ask why the light is still on. Lisa felt a chill. She had studied human history. Humans had been known for stubbornness, but this was different. 3 years alone in a station beyond map space was not stubbornness. It was devotion. Ryan pointed toward the photographs. Your daughter? Jack nodded. Emily. How old was she? 27. Lisa looked at the largest photograph. Emily was smiling beside a small exploration craft, one arm around a young engineer named Tom Harris. When did she disappear? 3 years ago. Ryan studied Jack's face. And you stayed here? Yes. For her? Jack's eyes remained on the photograph. For the promise. Lisa noticed something on the desk. 2 mugs. One was old and stained from years of use. The other was spotless. She pointed toward it. You keep 2? Jack looked at the second mug. I put it there every morning. Why? Because Emily liked coffee before sunrise. Ryan stared at him. You know she's gone. Jack's expression hardened. I know she didn't come home. The distinction silenced the room. Jack opened a drawer and removed a thick paper logbook. Its cover was cracked, its pages yellowed around the edges. He placed it on the console. Lisa leaned over. Thousands of handwritten entries filled the pages. 300. Reactor stable. 315. Lens cleaned. 340. Signal maintained. The dates continued. Year after year. Jack turned the pages. 3 years, he said. Every night. Ryan looked at the endless handwriting. You never automated it? I did. Then why stay? Jack's fingers rested on the page. Because machines don't keep promises. Lisa looked at him differently. For the first time, she understood that the lighthouse was not simply a station. It was a monument to a decision. Ryan noticed another object beneath the logbook. A small brass key hanging from a chain. What does that open? Jack closed his hand around it. Something I was told never to open unless the light changed. Ryan frowned. What change? Jack looked toward the lens. 3 flashes. The room became still. Lisa returned to her instruments. Commander. Ryan turned. What? I found the pattern. She enlarged the lighthouse transmission. The signal repeated every 90 seconds. 3 long pulses, then a pause, then 7 short pulses. It isn't a distress signal, Lisa said. Jack shook his head. No. What is it? Jack answered quietly. I promise. Ryan's patience broke. You've given us half a century of riddles. People disappeared here. You're receiving an unknown signal. Now you're telling me the lighthouse is making promises. I need the truth. Jack looked directly at him. The truth is the reason Earth is still alive. That stopped Ryan. Lisa stared at Jack. Earth? Jack nodded. This station has never been abandoned. Ryan glanced toward the stars. There is no human settlement anywhere near this region. I know. Then what are you protecting? Jack said nothing. Lisa moved toward the console. May I? Jack stepped aside. She connected her scanner to the lighthouse controls. The old system resisted at first. Then a hidden archive opened. Thousands of files appeared. Most were corrupted. One folder remained intact. Emily Miller, final transmission. Jack immediately reached for the console. Don't. Lisa stopped. You haven't listened to it? Not in 43 years. Why? Because the recording isn't for me. Ryan looked at him. Then who is it for? Jack's eyes moved to the window. Whoever finds this place. Lisa opened the file. Static filled the room. Then a young woman's voice emerged. Dad? Jack closed his eyes. The voice trembled. If you're hearing this, something went wrong. Ryan looked at Lisa. Emily continued. We couldn't bring the signal home. We tried. I don't know if anyone will understand what we found. The recording crackled. Jack gripped the edge of the console. But the light works. As long as it keeps burning, they won't see Earth. Lisa's face drained of color. Ryan whispered, Who won't see Earth? The recording continued. Dad, if I don't come back, don't turn it off. I know what I'm asking. I know what this will cost you. A long silence followed. Then Emily said the words Jack had carried for 43 years. Keep the light on. The recording ended. Nobody spoke. Ryan finally turned toward Jack. You've been hiding Earth. Jack shook his head. Not hiding. Then what? Keeping it asleep. Lisa checked the transmission again. Her hands began to tremble. Commander. Ryan looked at her. There is something else. What? She pointed to the incoming signal. We're not the only ones receiving it. Ryan stared at the display. Who else? Lisa swallowed. The lighthouse has been receiving an answer. Jack slowly looked up. For the first time since the aliens arrived, the old keeper looked afraid. How long? Lisa checked the timestamp. 43 years. Jack's face went pale. The light swept across the window. Once. Twice. 3 times. Jack whispered one sentence. They know where we are. This time they are not coming alone. For several seconds, nobody moved. The last words seemed to hang in the control room. They know where we are. Ryan looked at Jack. Who are they? Jack's hand remained on the brass key around his neck. You need to leave. Ryan stared at him. Leave? Take your fleet and go. We came looking for a human signal. And you found it. Ryan stepped closer. Then tell me what we found. Jack looked toward the lighthouse lens. My daughter found them first. Lisa lowered her scanner. Emily? Jack nodded. 43 years ago, Emily and her crew were exploring beyond the outer systems. They discovered something between the stars. What? Ryan asked. Jack hesitated. Something that should never have been noticed. A civilization? No. Jack looked at the darkness outside. A hunger. Jack opened another drawer and removed an old metal recorder. Emily called it the listener. Ryan frowned. What is it? She wasn't trying to name it. She was trying to warn us. Jack placed the recorder on the table. When civilizations become advanced enough, they start shouting into space. Powerful signals, communications, energy bursts. They announce themselves. Lisa understood. And the listener detects them. Jack nodded. It doesn't invade. It doesn't negotiate. It follows. Your daughter knew? She knew enough. Jack pressed a button. Emily's voice filled the room. We found evidence that every major civilization we could identify had disappeared after detecting the same signal. At first we thought it was coincidence. Static crackled. Emily continued. They aren't disappearing. They're being found. Ryan's expression hardened. By what? The recording answered. We don't know. Jack stopped the playback. Ryan stared at him. So you built this lighthouse? Emily did. Why here? Because this place was empty. Lisa looked around. You made the lighthouse imitate Earth's signal. Jack nodded. We needed something brighter than Earth. Ryan suddenly understood. You became the bait. Jack looked at him. Exactly. For 43 years the lighthouse had been broadcasting a false human signature into deep space, far away from Earth, keeping the listener occupied. Ryan looked at the old keeper. You stayed here alone to keep Earth hidden. Jack shook his head. I stayed because Emily asked me to. Lisa glanced at the photographs. How did she disappear? Jack's eyes lowered. The expedition tried to redirect the listener. They succeeded. Then what happened? Their ship was caught in the signal. Jack finally said they vanished. All of them? Yes. And you kept it running. Every day. Even after you knew Emily wasn't coming back? Jack looked at him. I knew she might not come back. Lisa returned to her console. Commander. Her voice was different now. What did you find? The signal from the lighthouse isn't just being received. She enlarged the data. Something is answering. Jack stepped forward. No. Lisa turned. I thought you knew. I knew they were listening. I didn't know they could answer. Ryan studied the screen. A faint pattern appeared beneath the lighthouse transmission. 3 pulses. Then 7. Then 3 again. Lisa isolated it. This response has been repeating for 43 years. Jack sat down. No. Ryan looked at him. What does it mean? Jack stared at the signal. It's not the listener. Then what is it? Jack's face had gone pale. It is Emily. Lisa froze. Ryan looked from her to Jack. You said she disappeared. She did. Then how is she transmitting? Jack stood. I don't know. The lighthouse suddenly flickered. Once. Twice. 3 times. Every light inside the station went dark. Then the emergency lamps came alive. Lisa looked at her screen. Commander. Ryan turned. There is a ship outside. Ryan moved to the window. He saw nothing. Then a shape emerged beyond the stars. It was enormous. Not a fleet. Not a human vessel. Something black crossed the distant nebula, so large that the stars disappeared behind it. Ryan's stomach tightened. How long until it reaches us? Lisa checked the readings. It isn't moving toward us. Ryan looked at her. Then what is it doing? Lisa's hands trembled. It's following the signal. Jack stared at the lighthouse. For 43 years I thought I was keeping them away from Earth. The enormous shape shifted in the darkness. More lights appeared behind it. Dozens. Then hundreds. Jack finally understood. I was keeping them away from us. Ryan looked at him. What changed? Jack pointed toward the alien fleet. You did. The realization struck Ryan. His fleet had not discovered the lighthouse by accident. Their sensors had answered its signal. Their communications had amplified it. Their arrival had made the lighthouse brighter than ever. And somewhere beyond the darkness, the listener had noticed. Ryan stared at the approaching shapes. How many? Lisa could barely speak. Too many to count. Jack walked toward the control console. What are you doing? Turning the light. Ryan grabbed his arm. You said turning it off exposes Earth. It does. Then don't. Jack looked into Ryan's eyes. I'm not turning it off. He inserted the brass key into a hidden slot. A deep vibration moved through the station. Ryan stepped back. What does that key open? Jack looked toward the darkness. Part of the lighthouse Emily never told me about. The floor began to shake. And for the first time in 43 years, the lighthouse beam stopped pointing into space. It turned toward Earth. The beam touched Earth. Then every alarm erupted. Ryan grabbed the console. Turn it back. Jack pushed his hand away. No. Your light is pointing at Earth. I know. Then you're exposing us. Jack stared through the window. The darkness was moving toward Earth. That is exactly what I needed to see, Jack said. Lisa looked at the readings. What are you doing? Giving it something better to follow. Ryan understood. You're moving the signal. Jack nodded. The lighthouse was always a decoy. Emily built one final system into it. He inserted the brass key. The station shuddered. Deep beneath their feet, ancient machinery awakened. Panels opened along the walls. Old cables lit one after another. Ryan stepped backward. You said you didn't know what the key opened. Then how did you know to use it? Jack looked at Emily's photograph. Because she knew I would eventually have to. A new display appeared. The lighthouse was generating a second signal. Stronger than anything it had transmitted before. Lisa stared at the numbers. This isn't a beacon. No. What is it? A mirror. The black shapes outside suddenly stopped. Lisa whispered, It's looking at us. Jack shook his head. No, it's looking at the signal. He pointed toward the Earth display. Slowly, impossibly, the enormous presence began moving away from the lighthouse. Toward the false signature. Toward empty space far beyond Earth. Lisa's eyes widened. It worked. Jack didn't smile. Not yet. Warning lights appeared. Lisa read the damage report. The reactor is overheating. How long? 7 minutes. Ryan looked at Jack. 7 minutes until what? Until the lighthouse burns out. And you? Jack walked toward the manual control chamber. I stay. Ryan followed. No. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You have a fleet. And you have spent 43 years protecting a planet that doesn't know your name. Jack looked at him. That doesn't make the planet less worth protecting. The lighthouse shook again. A section of the outer hull tore away. Lisa shouted. More of them are coming. Ryan turned. The distant darkness was multiplying. The false signal had attracted the listener, but the alien fleet was trapped between it and the lighthouse. Ryan made a decision. Fleet Command, form a defensive ring around the station. Jack looked at him. Buying you 7 minutes? Ryan gave a thin smile. Apparently, I'm already 43 years late. I can spare 7 minutes. Hundreds of ships formed a shield around the lighthouse. Weapons fired into the darkness. The explosions looked tiny against the enormous shapes. Inside the station, Jack entered the manual chamber. A single lever waited beneath a transparent cover. Lisa followed. What happens when you pull it? The lighthouse sends everything it has. And then? It dies. Lisa looked at him. So do you. Jack looked at the photograph beside the controls. Probably. You don't have to do this. I've been doing it for 43 years. Lisa shook her head. No, you've been waiting for 43 years. Jack looked at her. There's a difference. Ryan's voice crackled through the speaker. Jack, we have 4 minutes. Jack closed his eyes. He remembered Emily at 27 standing in the doorway holding 2 cups of coffee telling him she would be home before winter. He had spent 43 years keeping one chair empty. He suddenly realized he wasn't keeping it for Emily anymore. He was keeping it for the promise. The promise had almost been fulfilled. The console beeped. Lisa stared at her screen. Jack. What? I'm receiving a transmission. From Earth? No. Lisa's eyes filled with tears. It is from the lighthouse. She played it. Static. Then the young woman's voice. Dad? Jack stopped breathing. Emily. A recording. Dad, if you're hearing this, you kept the light on. Jack closed his eyes. I know you wanted me to come home. I wanted that too. Her voice cracked. But that's not why I asked you to wait. Jack's hand trembled. The light was never meant to bring us back. A pause. It was meant to keep them away long enough for humanity to survive. Jack looked toward Earth. I knew you would stay because you're my dad. The recording ended. Jack stood silently. Lisa whispered she knew. The station alarm screamed. 2 minutes. Ryan's voice came through. Jack, we have lost half the fleet. Jack reached for the lever. Ryan shouted. Wait. Jack stopped. You were wrong. About what? You weren't keeping humanity alive. Ryan looked toward the fleet. You were keeping the galaxy alive. Jack stared at him. Then he pulled the lever. The lighthouse erupted with light. A vast golden wave swept across space. The black shapes turned. Then, one by one, they vanished into the false signal. Silence returned. The lighthouse had gone dark. For the first time in 43 years, there was no light outside his window. Ryan entered the room. Jack was holding the photograph. It's over, Ryan said. Jack nodded. What will you do now? Jack looked toward Earth. Go home. Behind him, every surviving alien ship slowly activated its exterior lights. Hundreds of lights appeared in the darkness. Jack looked at them. For 43 years, one human had kept a light burning because he believed someone was coming home. He never knew that one day, an entire galaxy would come looking for him.